My husband is going to have see-through arms in this video.
Why?
He is going to be armless, but not handless, which is hilarious. Kind of like an animation.
I have great arms. Look at them. They look awesome.
What color are your arms, my love?
Aqua.
What color are they?
They're aqua.
That's not aqua.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
It's like a off green mixed with blue.
No, that is just green, my love.
The green screen is green.
The green screen is bright green.
And I'm aqua green.
That's not aqua. First of all, aqua is a blue.
Aqua's blue green.
Ugh.
Look up what makes... don't look it up. You look it up. Aqua... I'm wearing a blue greenish shirt.
He's wearing green sleeves.
Well,
oh, like the song. Alas, my love, he do me. Okay, anyway.
Why can you do that? Yes.
What up, Hope Biscuits? It's your girl Skitten back at it again. Today, we are here for more ZeFrank.
Thank you.
I'm working on saying his name correctly.
Yeah. You know, we're looking for you in the comments section. ZeFrank.
Oh, yeah. Hit us up.
Come on through.
What? Yeah, hit us up.
Hit us up.
Okay. The title of this one is True Facts. Pigeons are tricking you. And I believe it. I've never trusted those winged bastards for even a moment.
Now, do you want to hear a terrible pigeon story or should I wait?
No.
Do you want to hear a funny pigeon story?
No.
What about a benign pigeon story?
I don't trust any of your pigeon stories.
I have a couple different ones. Just tell me what mood you're in.
Okay, give me a benign one.
So when I was sleeping as a kid when I lived in Vegas,
this does not sound
I was waking up to sounds of moaning. And I was like, what the hell is that? Pigeons roosted right next door. Not on my house, so I couldn't kill them.
Right.
But when I opened my window, I could just fucking see them there with like a couple of sticks. And they're just sitting in a hole. And they're just making noise and looking at me. Yeah. That's it, every morning.
My pigeon story is one time I was driving and there was a pigeon and I told Chavez, I said, I would slow down because I'm going to hit that pigeon and I don't want to. And he was like, don't.
Of course not.
And he said, don't slow down. You're not going to hit the pigeon.
Yeah,
the pigeon knows how to get out of the way.
That's what I say every time.
And then the pigeon did not get out of the way and I hit the pigeon.
I have been wrong before.
And then I was sad and I cried and Chavez had to clean the front of my car.
You saw fucking feathers flying back. I said, that pigeon did not get out of the way. And we have learned a special thing about pigeons. Here we go.
I'm excited to learn about pigeons from ZeFrank. He's been doing really well with the lack of shit content.
That's true. He's lightened up on us.
But shitting is so much of a part of pigeons. I don't know
how he's going to avoid it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
But I have my fingers crossed. Hope you guys are doing well, staying safe and sanitized. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get started.
Look at my hands.
You might think that pigeons are just mindless peckers. Well, then what's this one doing pecking at a computer screen? Why is this one in a box with a banana? And will this pigeon live to see another day? Well, you're about to find out. If you've ever seen a pigeon walk, you might have wondered what's going on with all the head bobbing. Are they broken? And they do a lot of it, up to 8 times a second. So fast, in fact, that it wasn't until the 1960s that they realized that this forward and backwards motion was an illusion. It's not a bob, it's a thrust and stop. You can see it if you slow it down. The head goes first and then stays absolutely still while the body moves forward to join it.
I'm sorry. What did you guys think was happening? I'm confused.
They thought it was
in fact, that it wasn't until the 1960s that
they realized that they don't just headbang repeatedly.
Right.
Head first, then body.
Right.
I see. You know why I knew that I knew this?
Why?
Chickens.
Okay.
When you hold a rooster and he wants to look at something and you move his lower body, his head stays in the same spot.
Okay.
They don't move. I don't know if you knew that about roosters.
I don't know anything about roosters.
And it turns out they're not broken at all. This movement has to do with their vision. Here's one way to look at it. Let's say that you are casually perusing some random page on the internet.
Okay.
You wouldn't do this. Continuous scrolling? No, you can't focus on anything. It'd make you sick.
Right.
That's why it's hard to go through an Instagram feed with someone else driving, for example. More likely, you would do something like this. Scroll and pause. And that's because the light receptors in our eyes need a moment to recover between images, or else it's all a blur. That's essentially what the pigeon is doing with its head. Now, we don't bob our heads like the pigeon do, but our eyes are constantly trying to keep the world still. Here, try and move your eye from that teal dot to the orange dot along the horizon line. Notice what your eyes are doing. They're jumping a bit, like this.
Yeah.
You can try as hard as you like, but you can't move them smoothly. But you don't experience that motion as your eyes jump from one place to the next, because your eyes sort of shut down during those jumps. If you look at this image, you'll notice that your eyes seem to automatically move in the direction of the motion, which is a reflex designed to keep the image still.
You know how I know I'm blind? My eyes just immediately unfocus. So, blind people, we just go, am I staring at the whole image now?
And these sorts of reflexes are found in almost all animals that have eyes.
Yeah.
And are responsible for things like the gyroscopic head of a chicken, a murder chicken. Anyway, if you put a pigeon on a treadmill that's moving at the same speed that they're walking, they don't bob their head when they walk because their surroundings are still. And Pigeon on a Treadmill is the name of your next album. You're welcome. Now, if you spend any time watching pigeons, you might be wondering on a scale of 1 to a leg-humping chihuahua, just how horny are they? I'm sure you've seen it. A male pigeon does this head-bowing thing and waddles up to a female with his tail all fanned out. It can look a bit pushy, to be honest, and a lot of these gestures are the same as a male would use to be aggressive. But in this case, it's more like a dance. Jerry, these are wood pigeons. I don't care if it's cheaper, Jerry. It's the wrong species. How much cheaper? Oh, well, let's hope they don't notice. He bows, and then she might peck at the ground a bit. Naughty. And seeing that, he might turn a circle or two and rush towards her and then stop and preen for a moment. And it's exciting, gets the hormones flowing. And at this point, he might go in for a little peck, not a kiss, like an actual peck. And that might lead to beaking, which is when you know it's getting real.
Damn. Oh,
so she puts her beak inside his beak, and he pukes up a little food for her to eat.
Bro, they be, you sexy, put your face inside my fucking mouth, your whole face.
This feels like we're interrupting something so intimate.
That shit escalated to
my God.
Cute little, and she like to be chased, he chases to like, they're necking each other.
I mean, we've all done it. No?
Damn.
Now, of course, reeling from the glorious taste of his vomit, she might squat down, signaling she's up for it.
Yeah.
And then it's just a matter of getting your tail feathers out the way.
Yep.
But of course, if you're out on the street watching, most of the time it doesn't seem to go that well for the males. And you might think the whole pigeon scene is a bunch of bachelors getting rejected all day. But here's the thing. First off, pigeons will often mate for life, which means a lot of these pigeons probably know each other, and it's more of a, no, Steve, I don't know what has 2 thumbs and wants to get laid. And I told you the joke doesn't work, you don't have thumbs. God. And these displays aren't always just about leading up to mating either. Couples will often do these displays to reconnect, and it can actually be quite adorable. Wings all wrapped around each other. And they do a little version of this dance when it's time to pick a location for the nest. All right, so we should probably have a chat about pigeons.
It's good to know that pigeons are not homie hoppers.
Oh.
Like, hey, just because my man died doesn't mean I'm going to sleep with his best friend. That's not how that works.
Right, yeah. Flocks of a feather. Right?
Now, pigeon nests get a bit of a bad rap. I mean, it's true that some of them look like the pigeons read the instructions after a bottle of tequila and then woke up vaguely remembering that it had something to do with sticks. I mean, come on, that looks like the end of Act 2 in 3 Little Pigs. But before you judge, you should ask what the purpose of that nest is anyway. These sorts of pigeons are essentially domesticated rock doves, and rock doves are cliff dwellers. And in those little cliff hidey holes, the main thing is to make sure your egg don't roll away. They don't have to build some sturdy stick bowl to make it stay in a tree. Although, side note, you don't need a nest in a tree either. It turns out the white tern turns out an egg right into the armpit of a tree branch. No sticks at all. So by comparison, a pigeon is a regular Frank Lloyd Wright of nest building. And even if it is a single stick, don't you worry, those babies are going to be comfy. Mom and Dad are on it, literally. They take turns sitting on that nest and almost never leave it unattended. They take it serious. I mean, you can see they don't even always make it to the outhouse.
Is that the baby?
Oh, you never seen the chicks of a
bird? Is that the baby?
Yeah, they bald, bro.
Why does it look like...
It looks like the inside of the egg. It's like exactly what you imagine the inside of an egg.
Bro, somebody hit this bird in the face with an ugly stick.
I want to laugh, but that was just so boring. Ugly stick. Come on.
I know it's not explicitly written in most parenting books, but I do think the norm is to put some distance between the crib and where you shit. No judgment. Anyway, this goes on for a while. Look at the babies. Adorable. If you've never seen a pigeon baby before, it's because they stay in the nest for up to a month after they hatch.
They're so bald.
And by then, when they can fly away, they look all grown up. And there it is. That's the life of a pigeon. Do a little dance, make a little love, get down, or a stick, for the nest. Rinse and repeat. And you might wonder if maybe there's not that much going on in those little noggins. And of course, that's why they put one in a box with a banana. See if the pigeon can work that out.
Explain this to
I know
me.
the temptation here is to feel superior, like, come on, I could do that. But listen, have you ever been in a box with a banana? Might be kind of overwhelming. Going through the life choices you made that led you to that moment, and depending on how ripe the banana is, it might stink in there.
Damn.
I mean, it's enough to make this pigeon forget it can fly, you know? But it eventually has the wherewithal to use the little stool when it gets a bit peckish. And once you show a science hippie you can do something like that, forget about it. They're testing you on everything. They wanted to understand courtship better and set up a whole video dating scenario. And at work, the pigeons saw each other on the screen and started doing, the moves. But then the science hippies put a delay in the feed. So he's like, what's your name? And she says, nothing. And he says, do you come here often? Nancy. And he's like, oh, is Nancy a name? And she's like, no, it's my first time. And the whole thing gets screwed up, but now they know that there's some back and forth going on.
He's trying to hit on her in the club. Oh my goodness, dude. I heard this hilarious story of the guy trying to talk about hitting on a girl in a club.
Yeah.
And it's just like the classic, I said it, but it was loud, so she heard something different.
Yeah.
So what I did was so silly and ridiculous, you know what I mean? But I'm like, that is real life.
Absolutely.
Like, you know how many people don't like you because they think you said something you just didn't say?
That's how you know, like, it's a real story.
Oh,
when
yeah.
When everything goes, like, either too smooth or too ridiculous, that's, like, my biggest sign. Like, oh, this is not real. Like, you adjusted this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You edited this. But, like, when they tell you something like that, you're like, yeah, that makes sense. That tracks.
And you might be thinking, well, what are they looking for? What makes a bird attractive? So just like on Tinder, you can show a pigeon photos and see which one elicits a courtship response. And you can manipulate those images to accentuate certain traits. Maybe make the eyes bigger or that. If you have Photoshop open, you might as well go for it. Anyway, it turned out that the eyes didn't matter so much, but they did like a nice-sized beak. But here's the thing, though. It didn't matter where it was.
Really?
You could swap the beak and the eye, and they'd still be into it.
Really?
What's crazy is this has support from an experiment in the 80s. These baby chickens who'd never seen anything before had to choose between a stuffed bird and a stuffed bird that was all jumbled up. Remember, this is the 80s. Everyone's on cocaine.
Right,
This is what science was back then. Anyway, the chicks didn't mind the jumbling as long as there was an intact face.
Oh, my God.
Like this one was on par with a normal bird, but this one was just a bit too much.
Yeah, okay.
And you might be thinking, if pigeons can get into a bird with a beak where its eyes should be, it's probably not so visually sophisticated.
Okay.
All right, so let me ask you, which one of these is a picture of breast cancer? You don't know, but you can train a pigeon to tell you.
The
Turns
lumpy
out
one.
they have sensitivity to patterns and visual relationships that's on some AI level
Okay.
And they're doing it with images they haven't seen before at an 85 to 90% level of accuracy.
How?
And that's not all.
insanity.
Pigeons can make children cry with science. Some pigeons were trained to discern good children's art from bad children's art, which apparently had to do with how realistic the drawings were.
Oh, no.
Again, the pigeons did a great job, sparing parents the cost of sending their kids to art school.
Damn!
You could have pigeon guidance counselors.
Oh, no.
Check this one out. You can teach a pigeon a bunch of words, some of them real words like bust, and some of them nonsense words like varn. Now, the pigeon gets a treat if it pecks on the word that's real, or the star shape if it's a made-up word.
What?
Now you start mixing in new words that the pigeon's never seen before, both nonsense and real. And you know what? The pigeon's able to tell which ones are real and which ones aren't.
How?
It picked up patterns on what makes a word real.
How can you do that if you don't know words do? How? I don't understand, pigeon.
You know what this tells me, though? Them pigeons definitely know when they're shitting on my car.
Focus.
They, like,
There
they
are
know.
bigger things.
They know. If you've ever been pooped on by a pigeon, that shit was on purpose. They knew exactly who you were.
We know that you can train pigeons extensively, okay? They've
Yes.
been used all throughout history with great effect.
Messenger pigeons.
And the best part about them is you can teach pigeons for espionage. Like, you can teach them to fly places where they won't be seen. They don't give a fuck. Like, they with the shits. But words,
I didn't know they could read.
they can do English better than you. That's nuts.
Can't bullshit pigeon. And I'll tell you, if you want to invest in a company that makes peck-proof screens, because the science hippies seem to use them quite a bit. Here they got pigeons pecking color patterns in order for peanuts or whatever they eat. And then patterns
actually
made out
really
of shapes. What is that, a book? A windmill? Oh, and the
That
words
shit says peck me.
Someone was having fun in the lab.
Right.
And here they are remembering patterns even after the shapes get covered up. I mean, the bottom line is they have some pretty sophisticated visual cognitive
That is
abilities.
so
Read
freaking
not
cool.
dum-dums. I mean, their brain is about the size of a walnut, but it's jam-packed with neurons.
I see that.
More than twice the density of our brain.
Really?
It has to process a lot of information. They have 2 highly sensitive areas or foveas in each eyeball compared to our 1. And they have a field of vision that covers 340 degrees. Compare that with the 0 degrees covered by a dead pigeon. And you need those kind of beepers if you have falcons chasing your ass from all directions. And it helps with navigation, especially from above. Don't try telling a Walmart from an IKEA just based on the shape of the roof. Let alone finding the exact park bench where that crazy pigeon lady has strewn morsels of stale hot dog buns. Yeah. But you can release some pigeons 40 miles away from home in a place they've never been, and they can find their way back before dinner.
We knew that.
Oh, yeah. They'll be... And I'm telling you, they'll get back eventually.
Yeah.
The craziest part about ducks, my grandfather stole this guy's ducks once, and... They showed up. He fed them. They never left. It is what it is.
Got it.
And so they would leave. And we're like, well, how do you know they'll come back? It's like, they'll just be back. They're going hundreds of miles away.
Yes.
They'll just show back up when they're ready.
To be clear, his grandfather did not commit grand theft duck. They just...
I feel like he could have done more there.
They just showed up. I just want them to know that your grandfather didn't, like, dress up, you know, in like
as a big duck?
With like a shiesty and like a...
Can you imagine my grandfather with a shiesty mask? First of all, it would be a large shiesty mask. It's a large man.
With a shiesty mask and all black, and then, you know, he's like crawling through the marshlands where your neighbor's ducks lived, I would presume. Did they live in marshland?
First of all, neighbor is such a colloquial term. He lived over yonder.
Yes.
Right?
But anyway, crawling, right? Through the marshlands,
through
the muck and the mire.
My love, Jesus.
Then he snatched up the ducks.
And put them where?
And put them in his own pond.
Oh, just he carried them.
Yeah. And
crawled out with a handful of ducks.
His grandfather has very large hands.
I guess you're right. He could fit a couple in there, yeah.
Especially if they were ducklings.
Yeah, you're right.
He could steal the whole clutch of ducklings. But anyway, my point is that his grandfather did not do that. And anybody who says otherwise, I'll take care of him.
We'll kill him.
I already said we'll take care of them.
Yeah, by death.
They've never been, and they can find their way back before dinner. So how do they do that? One more recent theory is that they create little molecules in their eyes that interact with Earth's magnetic field.
What?
So they can kind of see Earth's magnetic field, and that works day or night. I mean, if they've got that, it's a little less impressive. A big fly this way sign in the sky.
Right.
I mean, I'd take back those war medals the pigeons got. It's bullshit.
Why?
It's Varn. You don't puke in my mouth no more. You
I'm sorry?
His tail on the floor. I think this pigeon love is gone. I think this pigeon love is over.
You couldn't let me be a cute little bit. What? Look at the picture.
Pigeon love, we're getting shit on from above. You don't puke in my mouth no more. You don't drag his tail on the floor. I think this pigeon love is gone. I think this pigeon love is over. Pigeon love.
Oh my God. What are these pigeons, good, bad? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
You don't puke in my mouth, no.
All right. Okay. He really couldn't just let this be a cutesy little vid either.
I really...
Yes.
I really hope that you guys enjoyed the video. He didn't talk about pooping.
That's true.
He has been doing so well.
No bowel movements.
I wonder if he was also traumatized by the hippo shit slurry.
He changed since then, because I've been keeping tabs, because that changed me.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for joining us. Don't forget to leave your reaction requests and recommendations down in the comments below. Husband, thank you so much for joining me.
It's been
I'm really hoping that people are able to see your arms in this video.
Please don't cut them out. I would look so weird with
I mean,
just leave them in.
It's just gonna be like your torso.
The whole time. The whole time.
And your head and your hands, but just no arm. Anyways, other than that, peace out, Hope Biscuits. It's Skittin' Lit.
It's time to go.